Hello, everyone. I want to make a short video. I'm going to read maybe a few verses. I'm going to start out with Romans 15:13, and it says, "Now the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, that you may abound in hope through the power of the Holy Ghost." I'm going to try to stay, not read too much, but I might read a little bit more. But hope is what had on my mind this morning and wanted to speak to you about, uh, because that is a very important thing. Uh, Psalms 52:9 said, "I will praise thee forever because thou hast done it, and I will wait for thy name. It is good before the saints." For every need that we have the promises of God. God's name is good, and He stands behind every promise that He's ever made. And hope is the subject. Hope is the anchor of the soul, they say. I thought about my mother. She died in 2016. She was almost 88. She had a good long life, but she had colon cancer. And we went to the office visits, saw the doctor, went to the hospital, was with her through it to the end. And when we would see the doctor, what we wanted to know is there any hope? That's what we all want to know. Is there any hope? I think I've touched on hope in other videos, but I've never made one on hope. I've never been without hope, not for 1 second. I thought maybe I wouldn't make it, but it wasn't because I didn't want to. People leave us, even our faithful ones will leave us through death, but God will never leave us. I understand they had a survey where they asked people, if you could ask God one question, what would it be? And the number one answer was, what is my purpose? Without a purpose, a life is just a motion without meaning, I heard. And one of the biggest mistakes is making permanent decisions over temporary situations. Heard a story about a ship that sank in the harbor, and the people went down there to rescue it. It hadn't got out of the harbor very far, and it sunk. And so they went to see about it, and they heard a knocking on the inside of the ship, and they listened, and they understood it was Morse code. And the people inside said, "Is there any hope?" That's what we're wanting to know. Is there any hope? It's asked by thousands and thousands of people in different ways every day. In the doctor's office, like I said, awaiting results of tests, standing by the hospital bed of a loved one, which I've done. And when the couple with a missing child talks to the police, they want to know, is there any hope? You go without food about 40 days. Jesus did that. Elijah did that. A man named Bobby Sands, I think he was from Ireland, he went 56 days before he died, and he was just a pile of bones. You can go maybe 8, 9, 10 minutes without oxygen and not have brain dead, and not be brain dead. You can go 3 or 4 days without water, but you cannot go a single second without hope. Jehovah Shammah means God is always there. And that's what gives me hope, is because I know that God is always there. His presence is watching over me. Isaiah 41:10 says, "Fear thou not, for I am with thee. Be not dismayed, for I am God. I will strengthen thee, yea, I will help thee. Yea, I will uphold thee with the right hand of my righteousness." Psalms 32:8 says, "I will instruct thee and teach thee in the way which thou shalt go. I will guide thee with mine eyes." And Lamentation 3:21 through 23 says, "This I recall to my mind, therefore have I hope. It is of the Lord's mercies that we are not consumed, because His compassions fail not. They are new every morning. Great is thy faithfulness." Every morning we're issued out new. new promises. I don't have to figure it out. I just have to trust God because He's already figured it out. They studied POWs in the wartime, and they found out that the ones that survived the most had an extraordinarily high level of hope. The fear of abandonment is a real great fear, the what if of life. But God is not going to abandon you. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to His purpose. That is a great comfort to me. I've made this illustration before. My wife, in my opinion, makes the best cornbread I've ever had in my life, and I don't get in there when she's about to cook it, and she has to come in there and say, "Get out of that meal," or "Get out of that. Don't be eating those eggs raw. I'm going to make some cornbread after a while." I don't like the individual ingredients, but boy, when you get them together, oh, that's something else. And I don't like tribulations and temptations and adversity. But when all of that gets together, it sure does make something good. Not every patient gets well, and not every problem gets solved, but God is still faithful. He's doing the right thing by us. Jeremiah 29:11 says, "For I know the thoughts that I think towards you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end." Philippians 1:6 says, "Being confident of this very thing, that He which has begun a good work in you will perform it to the day of Jesus Christ." He's doing good things in my life. Even when the situation is bad, He's doing good things. Can you bring good things out of bad? Yes, the resurrection. I made another video about bringing a clean thing out of an unclean. And God can. He's the only one that can. Because in the resurrection, the resurrection is death, burial, and resurrection. That's repeated over and over in the Bible. God, I'm going to give you all my pieces. And if you would, Lord, give me your peace. God's watching over us, and He's working in us. He's got a place for me. Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. It's like I told you before. I have performed wedding ceremonies, and they'd have a reception, and I didn't have to worry about running in there. They had a table with my name, a place with my name on it. And this is the way this is. It's the way it is with my work. I don't have to worry about somebody getting my work. It's reserved. The place in heaven is reserved, and that gives me a sense of relief and release. God's presence. I'm a cold-natured fella. I had heart trouble, and His presence surrounds me like a warm blanket in the wintertime. A hope-filled life is not a problem-free life or a grief-free life. It's just, He said, "Wherefore you greatly rejoice, though now from a season, if need be, you are in heaven, is through manifold temptations." Manifold temptations. I don't understand. I'm not mechanically minded at all, but I understand a manifold maybe has different inlets, but one outlet. We got temptations. There's many coming in, but there's only one way out, and that's through God. It gives me comfort to think about He's going to wipe away all the tears from our eyes. And He said, Isaiah 40:31 says, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint." And I've said before, it's not like waiting at the bus stop. I'm just going to sit here. God is a moving God. And I just want to be an humble child of God. That's more like a waiting thing to me. I want to be moving. I want to use what talents I've got. Probably just got one, but I want to use that thing. I think Abraham Lincoln said, "No man was made for immortality. This body's not. So it's going to take God to, in life we have practice rounds and we practice and we have a warm up. They have a warm up lap before the race. This life is preparation for the next." "Your time on earth," said Sir Thomas Browne, "is but a small parenthesis in eternity." I just wanted to, I guess that's enough for today. I just wanted to talk to you about hope, tell you to hang on to your hope. I have seen times where maybe it felt like, what's the use? Nothing's working, that sort of thing. But just give it another day. Tomorrow may be a better day. I treasure my hope. I wouldn't take anything for it. You could stack this room up with $1 million, and I wouldn't trade it for my hope. Don't let the enemy trade you out of your hope. People has traded their hope, and what they got, they got beat. They didn't get nothing in return. And then besides that, when they got it, they didn't want it anymore. And then besides that, they came to despise it, like Esau his birthright. So I hope that's what we're talking about. I hope that you can increase your hope, and I hope this video will help you. May God bless you until the next time that we talk.